today I'm going to go ahead and go through the usual thing because a lot of people here may not know Jim. So I'm going to introduce Jim. He's the co-founder and I guess head of development, for lack of a better term, at Legiit. And he's been with us since before day one. And I'm going to ask him to tell us a little bit about himself and what he does for Legiit, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Thank you for that introduction. So as you said, my name is Jim Sabellico. I am the head nerd, I guess we'll call it that, as I have even less of a better name for it than you did. But so what I do here in Legiit is really go over all the technical details, make sure that they are working as we want them to, and help make everything work nice and smooth, create the new features and all the behind the scenes stuff that goes into making that the place for you guys to start thinking bigger and getting some more stuff done. So outside of that, I don't know. I don't have any good other fun things to say. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I love sushi. And there's your 3 fun facts.
Tell us about some of your other businesses too.
Sure. So one of them, which actually just opened up 3-4 days ago at this point, a sushi restaurant in New York called Lotus. That was it's been closed for about 2 years. There was a fire there, and we just actually reopened it a couple days ago. So it's a pretty fun one. There's a couple different SaaS products. I also have a web design development agency involved in a CrossFit gym for kids. That's a relatively small role there, but a lot of fun, a lot of benefits there, people-wise, which is nice. Involved in a lot of different random things, which I always find fun because it gives you a lot of cool ideas to bring cross-platform, if you will.
Now, do you have different, like, you don't outright own all of those, right? Like, you've got equity in some of those. Is that came from your web business, a lot of it, right?
Yes. So the web agency is the only business I actually own outright. All the rest of them I'm partners in or have an equity share in. That's a lot of them came from people who came in as a customer who were looking to do some partnership for growth, or there was an investment opportunity in the case of the restaurant. But it was just different ways I can kind of utilize skills from one area into another, deploy some cash, and help build a better portfolio there.
I bring that up because that's a model that a lot of people really don't take advantage of. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen not a lot of people do it well, and I've seen a bunch of people try and do it very poorly. Like, they follow that whole theory that a millionaire has to have 7 sources of income, so they try and start 7 businesses right away, and then fail at all of them. So I would definitely say if that's something that you do want to do, like, get the first one working right first, where you can actually step away from it, and the business is not only going to continue to run, but actually grow with you not in it. Then move on to building an income source number 2. Yeah, it works well when you do it right.
So, not to put you on the spot, but one of the reasons I've always avoided that model is I was afraid that I would end up like running the business and like having to do more than I was agreed to. Is that, how do you avoid that as an issue, or is it not an issue at all?
It's definitely an issue. I literally, before I was here, I was actually at the restaurant doing a photo shoot for the menu. So, and that's kind of the reason why I said that before. Like, when you start another business, you're going to be so heavily involved in stuff. Like, you could say, hey, yeah, I'm only going to be responsible for this part. But what winds up happening is things don't go according to plan, and you wind up having to do more than you thought. So you got to really be in a good spot where, you know, the business you already have established can really run and grow without you in it. Because when you start that second thing, it's going to just suck time. So it definitely does suck a lot of time away as it gets up and rolling. But you just got to continue to move yourself out of it as best you can. Just be really diligent about doing that.
Wonderful. It's something I've looked into, but I don't think it's for me. But I do see the appeal to it, because once you get to a certain point, it becomes, I don't want to say passive, but semi-passive, right?
Yeah. It depends too on what you're really involved, like what your involvement level is. If it's just an investment opportunity where you're not, hands-on really with it, you're just kind of deploying some cash where you can, make a small investment and have a 10% equity share in a business that you just get like an email from the manager every month. with what happened. Situations like that work pretty well, but yeah, I guess it really depends on how much time you're willing to invest. And like you said, if it's something that doesn't work well for you individually, then don't do it. Like there's so many ways to do things. Trying to force one or the other just because you heard or saw someone else do it always works poorly. So good job.
And how do you balance all of those? Like, how do you decide which one gets your time that day, along with your personal responsibilities?
Um, it's a struggle, to be honest. I've found the best way to really do it is to be really disciplined with scheduling things, and scheduling things up until like, hey, what time of day are you going to take a shower and get dressed? Like actually putting that on the calendar, not that you have to really like wait for the alarm to go off on your phone to say, hey, it's time to get dressed, but just planning for time in the day, and planning like at the end of my day I look forward to tomorrow and say, hey, what is tomorrow going to do, and then just try and be as realistic as I can with where that time's going to go, because like I said before, time really creeps away, and you just get to the end of your day and I'm like, damn, I didn't do all of these things I wanted to do because X, Y, and Z happened, or this emergency, that emergency happened. Budgeting for emergencies is a good one. So if on average, every week you lose 2 or 3 hours to emergency scenarios that pop up, start putting those in your schedule. And then if you don't have one, then use it to get ahead for next week. But I would say time management is definitely the key there.
Wonderful. Now, what about stuff that's months away? If you, for example, knew that there was going to be something you had to do 6 months from now, would you be able to plan for that?
Yes. So what I do is actually on the very first of the month, I'll plan out the next 2 months. And it gets a little tighter as the weeks go on. So just for example, so July 1st comes up. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to look at, hey, what are all the obligations that I have in July and August? And I'm going to make sure that all of them are on the calendar and look for any conflicts. Look for making sure that I've planned travel time ahead of things. And then I'm going to look at basically like week 1 and week 2 really tight to make sure that I have everything super planned out and basically block off any new additions so the changes don't really throw me off too much. But I found that to be a pretty good practice, that you continue to look ahead a couple months at a time. So for an event 6 months out, what I would do is just keep it on the calendar, blocked out, and revisit it, every few weeks just to make sure, is there a thing that you can do that's going to help reach that goal quicker, rather than wait until 5.5 months to start thinking about it. So the more time you spend quiet, reflecting in your calendar and planning, the easier things get. Personally, I have I don't know what you want to call it, an inclination, or I usually put things off to the last minute until like there's some level of pressure on it. So if I'm not diligent about looking forward to, hey, what's going to happen in 6 months, it's going to be the night before, and I'm going to be like, oh crap, I got to get it done. So for me personally, I try and really be as disciplined as possible to avoid that happening.
So, for example, if we started planning something in March for September, you would know if you'd be available for it then.
Correct.
Right. And have you planned anything for September?
I do have one pretty big event in September, which we've been working on behind the scenes, damn near 80 hours a week straight since March, and it's exciting. So we can jump into that if you want.
Yeah, I just want you to tell us a little bit about it. And by the way,
Sure.
I hope everyone appreciates the segue that I made for that whole conversation to lead up to that.
That's
There's
nice.
a real skill to hosting that
So
I'm not afraid to pat myself on the back for.
What Chris is referring to is our Legiit live event, which will be in Myrtle Beach. And at that event, we are going to have speakers. We're going to have presentations. We may even have one really big surprise that you do not want to miss, because you will have early access to that when everyone else who is not there won't. So, and that's the thing that we've been working on kind of behind the scenes for all that time. It is probably the largest, not even probably, it's definitively the largest change we've made to Legiit, functionality wise, feature wise, and like just sheer awesomeness that we've ever made. So there's a ridiculous amount of awesome and totally cutting edge stuff that we are going to be introducing at Legiit Live, which again, you will get access to before anybody else if you are there. If you're not there, well, then you'll have to wait. But yeah, we've been working pretty hard on that, and I don't know how much details we want to give away to it yet, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about the event a little bit and how it came, how we decided to do it. Anybody that knows me knows that for a long time, I absolutely hated live events, and I still don't like traveling. But last year I spoke at one, and then I spoke at another, and I spoke at a third one this year, all from people inviting me to them. And I really began to change my mind on it, because I met a lot of cool people. I quite frankly made some good money from it, from contacts that I made, because I don't know why entrepreneurs feel this need to pretend like they don't do shit for money, because that's why we do it. But and I enjoy them, and I'm starting to see a lot of value in them. And I have some experience in event planning from when I work in politics, but not a lot. But so the thought of it was, we're getting some background noise from your end.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe reset my mic.
Okay. Sorry. But anyway, the thought of planning an event was always very daunting and overwhelming to me. But after the last one I spoke at in early March, I started thinking more and more about it. And I was like, I think there's probably some value to it. And I've been asked numerous times over the years. I remember, I don't think he's on today, but Cody Schultz, one of our regulars, has asked me about it a lot. And one day I was out walking, and I put in Slack, we have like an ideas channel, and I put in, should we have our own live event? And within minutes, Jim replied, I think so. And it's just been kind of taken off from there. And it's been a lot to plan, but it's also been really interesting to plan too. Now, you've spoken at a few before, right, Jim?
Yes.
What what value do you get from them?
I think there's so much to be said for the in-person connection that, like, I think a lot of people look at taking courses or webinars and trying to understand and to learn, or to get a mentor, or to get around people who are on a different level or have a different skill than you do. And there's obviously so much access to education on the internet and legit courses, wink, wink. But being in the same room as somebody, sharing the same space, especially for an entire weekend, is just different. Like, there's so much that you get from being in person with other people who are like-minded, who are pushing the same direction. The energy that comes from that is you can't match anywhere else. So I think it's really just that being in the same room as other people and getting that energy and that momentum going has been such a springboard to create new and more cool things.
What about like tangible benefits? Like what you talked about was kind of intangible, but like literally like connections that have led to sales, or do you get that sort of thing from it too?
Oh, absolutely. I've got connections now that I've met at conferences or people who have been guests on podcasts, or actually there have been investment opportunities that have come from that as well. Being in the same room opens up a whole lot of doors.
Yeah. Another example is one of the sponsors that we're going to have for Legiit Live is Local Dominator, which is owned by my friend Eldar. And I met him. I mean, I'd seen him on Facebook with like the stupid wizard hat, but I met him in person at a live event, and we've gotten to be, friends and not business partners, but business associates since then. And he's somebody I met at a live event, and now he's going to be one of the sponsors and one of the speakers at our event. So I mean, that's literally like proof that these things work. It's easy to say that, oh, the connections and the networking is important, and it is, but like I think people don't really appreciate what that means until there's like a specific example. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but
yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle to figure out, like, for their own personal use case. Maybe they're a small business owner and they're not looking to invest in another business, or they're not looking to pick up a sponsor, but they just own a business and they want to figure out how to grow it. Like, it might be hard to figure out applying that same principle. So to that, I would just say, if you are that person, the time spent in person and the actual one-to-one connections where you find another business owner who has maybe gone through that struggle before and has some experience, where you can sit and have a conversation face to face uninterrupted for half an hour. The value that comes out of that, or the connection that comes out of meeting someone else who's in the same industry as you, is really so hard to beat.
Yeah, there, James Slattery, who is also going to be one of our speakers, is on. At least he was a little while ago. And I remember during his speech at an event I was at earlier this year, I think it was during his speech. Well, that had to be, because I know the thing he's talking about. He talked about a way to create a product you can offer is creating a social networking site for people in a specific industry. So if you work with dentists, you can create one for dentists. And somebody in the room was like, but then aren't they all competitors? Why would they want to share stuff with them? And like, I was thinking it, and fortunately somebody in the crowd piped up. He's like, you're literally in a room full of competitors right now that are trying to help one another. And my point to that story is some people are going to think in a limited way, and I don't mean to pick on anybody, but think of people in their industry as competitors. I look at them as opportunities, and as great people too, but as opportunities, because you never know, like when there's somebody that's not a good fit for you, or I don't know, there's a lot of opportunity to help people in the same industry and have everyone mutually benefit. And I don't mean that in the way that every cold DM you ever got that says, is there any chance for synergy? I mean actually benefit each other. So I think that's a limitation a lot of people should try to overcome.
Yeah, I agree.
James, it says he's still on. I don't know if you remember that particular thing, James, but that just cracked me up when somebody was like, that's why would they want to talk with a bunch of competitors in a room that was literally doing the same thing? So, no offense, whoever's what said that is here watching. I don't know who you are, so I can't embarrass you, and I don't mean to pick on you. It just made it funny, and I wanted to bring that point up because I feel like a lot of people will think that way. So anyway, so putting together an event, I wanted to do something. I don't want to like break the mold too much, but I also didn't want to do the same thing. And I don't mean to pick on any particular format, but I didn't want to just do the conference room at a hotel kind of thing with speakers. I wanted to do something a little bit different. That was one thing I got from the last event that I spoke at, which was in this kind of garage type of thing, which was really cool. And I wanted to do something similar to that. And thankfully, it wasn't up to me to plan it, because this never would have happened. But I won't embarrass the person that was responsible for that. But I wanted to do something different. So we found a really cool location that I have a personal connection to, that I'm going to tell that story at the event. So if you want to hear that story, you're going to have to come live too. But I don't know. I just want to do something a little cooler, a little different. And I also wanted to have more than just an event. I wanted to give you something beyond just the knowledge that you'll get from our speakers, which we'll talk about. And that's why we had planned this particular update anyway, but we figured why not give it away at the event as a bonus and a incentive. So you'll also get to be ahead of the curve for showing up live. And, I've lived here all my life, so I don't know, but I'm told this is a great place to vacation. You've been here before. Would you agree with that?
I would, yes.
Yeah.
A lot to do there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to come up with answers to what should we do when we're here, because I never do any of the stuff that tourists do. But I know there's a ton of tourist stuff here, because we have our year-round population is like 30,000, and we get 14 million tourists a year. So that tells me that can't be a coincidence, right? So I'm looking the comments here. James, who I was just talking about, says, of course, and the niche size can be anything. We're launching a social network for painters and have had huge response. Exactly. Kamar says, hey, Jim, how are you feeling now? Hope you're feeling well.
I'm well, thank you.
All right. MD says, hey, Chris, do you have a discount for higher roller Legiit users? Well, first of all, we don't think of the people on our platform as users. We think of them as customers, freelancers, and community members. Discount, we occasionally do site-wide discounts, but usually the discount is up to the freelancer because they set their own price. So John says, it's my birthday, boy. I'm 35. Yeah. Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday.
MD says customers. Yeah, I think I answered that. So I guess the next thing to do is, unless you have another suggestion, is to look at the site and talk about the event, its specifics a little bit.
Yeah, let's do.
All right. So let me bring it up. And the speaker list is still being finalized. A couple of people are trying to. The event price. Oh, just a second, MD. The speaker list is still being sorted out. There's some people that are still trying to get visas and that sort of thing. So it's not 100% set in stone, and there will be some extras. But this is the site. It's cleverlylegitlive.com. Fun fact on that, we debated for weeks on the name for our live event and eventually just said, fuck it, and went with Legit Live. Because it's better to just do something and get it done rather than try to be super creative. But you can see let me zoom in some. Actually, let me remove us too. That made it worse. The event is September 13th, 14th, and 15th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is home to me and like other people, but mostly me. And here are our hosts, me with my 2-year-old picture. Jim, how old is your picture?
It's from this year, I believe.
Show off. And here are some of our speakers. Again, this is still being finalized, but there's lots of great names on there. Most of these folks have been on the channel before too, but Gregory Ortiz, Andrew Moles, who's an absolute beast at paid advertising, Eldar Cohen, who's one of our sponsors from Local Dominator, Navneet Kaushal, who some of you may not be familiar with, but he's just a brilliant SEO mind. Brian and Michael were both on the channel a while ago. In fact, all of these folks have been on the channel in just a little bit. Just recently, we got Terry Samuels, who indirectly is responsible for us having this event because he invited me to speak at his last year, and that was what kind of set the rock rolling down the hill. Randy Rohde, who's the PR guy and a seller on Legit. Brock Meisner, who I badly want to say Lesnar every time I want to say his name, because not only is it very similar, but he's a big dude too. So, and then James Slattery, who is literally on the call right now. Right there, James Slattery, SEO. He had a great presentation. We had Robbie Rizik, who has been on the channel before and is doing some cool stuff with Google Maps and AI. Kira Korishlova, who is an international SEO expert. And we'll have bios for all these folks on here very soon as they send it to me. Hint to those of you in attendance. And Brian Cato, another SEO expert. We'll talk about the pricing in a minute, but there's Eldar says, can't wait, guys. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for being one of our sponsors. We certainly appreciate that. Now, and of course, Jim and I will be speaking as well. I'll be the Master of Ceremonies, which is just a great title. And Jim will be presenting and running things as well. And then we're going to have another 4 or 5 speakers that, again, we're still sorting out the details with. But now, I wanted to diversify and get some people that maybe haven't been as well known or aren't as well known to the people that are going to be there, because I want to bring some value. And that's one of the reasons I like, for example, Andrew, I asked him because he's the best paid ad marketer I've ever met. And I thought that would be great to have it be more than just SEO. And then Jim, of course, you have a lot of diverse background as well. Please stop asking the same question over and over again. Have a little respect for what we're talking about. Okay. But can you talk about what you look forward to in a speaker at an event and why that informs some of our choices?
Yeah, I think it's the authenticity in their experience. So rather than just finding someone who has maybe a great speech and it's filled with nothing, finding people who, finding people who've actually done stuff. A lot of times, like, you look at some of the main marquee marketing events and they've got the names that everyone's seen all around. Most of those people, while they have a name, they have an Instagram following, are not the people who are actually doing the work. They don't have the actual experience themselves. They just bring a name and an Instagram following because it can sell tickets. So rather than just fill a room with a bunch of people who, can fill a room so we can make some money on it and call it a day, like finding people who actually have the cutting edge experience, who are out in the field doing stuff, who can actually like give us the ideas and the insights and the understanding that we can go take that knowledge, apply it, and improve, I think is really the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you mentioned making money, so we'll get to the pricing here in just a second. But that was another thing I wanted to, and again, I'm not picking on anybody, but I wanted to. I don't care if this makes money. Like it's probably going to break even or make or slightly lose money. And that's because of the way we're doing the pricing. I wanted to do it to where anybody can come. Like Myrtle Beach is a relatively cheap flight, of course, depending on where you're coming from, but a relatively cheap flight and place to stay. And then the ticket pricing we put in a way that we thought, we can't lose our ass on it, but we want to make it affordable for everyone too, right? Like, because we could probably charge like 3 or 4 times what we're charging, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So if you want to check out the pricing, it's right here on the same page. We'll talk about the individual packages, but we have an executive package, which is, I don't want to say basic because nothing we do is basic, but it's the normal package. And then we have a VIP package as well. And if you zoom in, you can kind of see what that includes. And there's going to be some more stuff. Like, I guess we need to put on the fact that we're unveiling some stuff here, but you get access to the 2-day event with the main package. And then with the VIP package, you'll also get VIP get together the night before. That'll be on the 13th. And then you'll get lifetime access to the Legiit dashboard, which if you don't already have, that's good. I don't know. It says front row seating, but what you'll get is the opportunity to sit wherever you like. And you just get a little ticket that says, reserved for this person. I do it that way because some people may prefer to sit in the back. I know I'm that kind of guy. And then you'll get a recording of the event will be included along with that. And that's our early bird pricing. As we start to sell out, we're going to have to raise the price a little bit just to make sure that frankly, I don't know why, but it's just to make sure that it fills up and things like that. So as space gets more limited, we may have to increase the price to accommodate everything. So because there'll be hidden costs and things like that as well. And then we've already got a hotel lined up. There will be it's not here just yet, but there will be a special rate for it. You can book your room at Island Vista Resort. And if you use you Legiit Live, you'll get a special rate of that. And it's a really nice hotel. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, I don't blame you. I don't post very much, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen I literally walked by it and recorded it the other day. It's a really nice hotel. And then the event site itself is not on here, is it?
It is, I believe, behind the tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. There's not any information, but it's at a place called Pine Lakes Country Club, which let me see if I can find a good picture of it. But it's a really cool place. It's on a golf course, and they've got like a big ballroom there, and I think that's going to be a really cool way to do it. Because, like I said, I wanted to do something a little different, and again, it's someplace that I have an actual connection to. So I think this is it. Yeah, I guess we need to get that added into the site as well. So yeah, this is that too. So it's going to be it. There's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of speakers that we haven't yet mentioned. So let me see what else we got here. Eldar says, "Can't wait, guys." Fist bump. Great list. Lots of established names. Also seeing Kira for international SEO. Awesome. What about me? Why does no one ever say it's awesome to see me? Robbie, another of our speakers. Says, "Hey folks, looking forward to the big event. Can't wait to share huge value to pay back for Legiit and the connections I got from this platform." Awesome. Thank you, Robbie. And Prabir says, "Hi, sir." So Elder says, "Laugh out loud." So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But I'm going to go and put this in the chat on the various platforms. And Jim, what else would you add that I have yet to cover?
I think you've done a pretty good job of covering all the basics, but yeah, I would just emphasize being there in person. I think a lot of us are so super busy, or at least we think we are, but we're not necessarily productive. What I want to say there is we look at our to-do list, and I talked a bit before about running different businesses and being productive and have a lot to do. Like I think a lot of us look at our schedule with, you got your business, you got your personal life, you got your kids, you got your vacations, you got all your stuff that you try and jam into your schedule, and you look at it like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to carve out 3 days to go and take a trip and go do something, or maybe I'll save the money and I'll just, I don't know, YouTube it. But like, the benefit that comes from making that investment is so exponentially positive, but you just got to take the leap. You got to look at it like, hey, it's not just because you're trying to be busy and you're saying, hey, I can't possibly spend 3 days in Myrtle Beach learning SEO and learning how to grow my business because I've got all this stuff to do. But what's going to happen is, if you're like most people, and look, it's just the fact of the matter, you spend that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to have all these plans, but what's going to happen is you're going to get distracted doing this or that. Next thing you know, it's going to be Monday morning. You're going to say, crap, I didn't do a lot this weekend. It happens all the time. But instead, you go to legitlive.com, you plop down your $4.97 for a ticket, you show up, and you spend 3 days around some of the best actual minds in the business. You're getting access to stuff ahead of time. Like, the actual ROI on that 3 days, $500, is absurd. Absolutely absurd. You could probably make that ROI in half an hour on day one and leave. Please don't leave. Stay the whole weekend. But point being, like, invest in yourself, invest in your business. Like, you look at all the expenses that come up with running a business. You and I talked about it the other day. You got to pay a permit fee to the local county just to run a business that has literally no impact on the county at all.
Yep.
You don't transact in the county, but for some reason you got to pay that fee to the business.
Yeah. I call it the
right?
fuck you, what are you going to do about it fee.
But, like, pretend this is that. Don't be angry about it. But my point is, man, you got to pay $500 to the city to do business. Why don't you feel as comfortable paying $500 to go grow your business so you have more money in the bank? Like, you go take that $500, you go deploy it into a ticket. That goes out and makes you more money. It brings you back more education, brings you back more knowledge, more connections. That's worth, I don't know, dozens and dozens of thousands of dollars easily. But you got to go do it. So that's my encouragement for that.
Yeah, very well said. So for those of you that are on right now, do me a favor and let me know in the chat if you plan to come or if you want to come and you're not sure. So let me know. And if you have any questions, maybe I've breezed over something. Maybe you want to see the speakers list again. Let me know in the chat what's going on. And again, the dates are going to be September 13th, 14th, and 15th, which is what, about 3 months from now? If my head math is right, literally, just under 3 months from now. So there's still plenty of time, although every time I do one of these streams, we sell a few more tickets. And I guess that's another point I should make, is this isn't going to be a massive event with a lot of people. I wanted to keep it lean and mean. I hate cliche, but that's kind of the best one I can think of at the moment is lean and mean. Like, this is going to cap out at 150 people. I'm aiming for 100. So, you know, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity. So if you on the fence, you know, go ahead and jump in now. But if you're thinking about it, or if you are going to go, let me know in the comments and in the chat. We still got a good 60 people on. So I'd like to hear from some of our audience on if you're planning on making it, or if you have any questions, or if you want me to go over who the speakers are. Maybe you never heard of some of them and you'd like me to explain their information a little bit. We're going to get the bios up as soon as they send them to us. I think I have 3 so far, so we need to get more of those. Let's see. Joseph says, you're the most awesome one, Chris, on the list for sure. Yeah, now you say that.
Dude, what about me, man? It's messed up.
Poor Joseph can't win. Jessica says, I can't wait for those to attend to be the first to hear the major news too. Eldar, one of our sponsors from Local Dominator, says it's a no-brainer to join the event. There you go. There you go. Eldar is an excellent speaker, by the way. I've seen him speak twice at 2 of the 3 events I've been to. He's been one of the other speakers. He brings great energy, has some great information to share, and I already know a little bit about what he's going to talk about. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that. But anybody else have any questions? Want me to go over the pricing or the event or the dates or anything else again? Just let me know, and I'm gonna get just a sip of water while we do that because I'm getting hoarse. All right, let's see. Will this event be uploaded on YouTube for those who can't join? It won't be on YouTube, but there will be. Well, if the Wi-Fi there supports it, we're going to try to do a live stream of it. I don't know yet. I want to do that because I understand that we have an international audience and it's just too much of a trip for some folks. It really is just going to depend on how good the internet connection there is, if we do that or not. Having said that, we will do a recording, but it'll be probably months afterwards before we can put that on sale. So, but yes, we're going to try to do a live stream and we will do a recording later on. Having said that, some of our guests are going to be talking about things that they don't want to be shared. So you won't be able to see everything, and you won't get access to the stuff that people attended live do. So it won't be the same experience. But yes. Rank Zenith says live stream will be awesome. Like I say, I'll do my best, but the real deal is to be there in person if you can. I know you're in Australia and that's a hike, but anybody that can be there in person, you're going to be much better off with that. So a gym planned 6 months ahead to be able to make it. And I'm still giving you, we've been talking about it for a month and I'm still giving you another 3 months. So will there be any juicy offers with it? Well, we're certainly going to be giving you something for free that I can't divulge just yet, but yeah. And I can't speak for any of our speakers, which is an interesting turn of phrase, but I suspect that some of them will have some offers for you as well. Some, again, I can't promise anything. This is just speculation, but I imagine that they will have ways to get more from them and things that you won't be able to access elsewhere. So the answer is probably, and definitely from us. So Nafiz says hello. Rank Zenith says sounds great. Your beard is getting epic, by the way. Like I have beard envy. Although that level of beard would drive me absolutely insane. How close? These are great questions. How close is this to the beach, and is food included? So the event location is, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute Uber from the beach, but the hotel is actually right on the beach. So let me bring that up. What's it? That's the wrong window. What's it called? Island Vista Resort. So the hotel itself is literally right on the beach. I was adamant about that with when we were choosing a hotel, that I wanted something right on the beach, because what's the point of coming to the beach if you're not going to be on the beach, right? So let's see this. That is the hotel, and that is right on the beach, as you can see there. It's Myrtle Beach. That's, and not that any of you are invited to my house, but it's only like a 5-minute drive from where I live. So you can see some really nice pictures of it here as well, if you want to check that out. Thanks, mate. It's where all the effort is going at the moment. I hope that's not true. But you can check that out. So that's the hotel. And then the event is here, and make sure that you use Legiit Live when you book rooms through them. We don't get an affiliate or anything like that, but it will save you some money because we blocked out a book of rooms for you as well. And is food included? Yes, it is. The event will be catered both days, Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and 15th. So you can go somewhere for lunch if you want to, but it'll have like finger food throughout the day and then a catered lunch both days as well. So yeah. That's a lesson I learned from another event. So Eldar, if you're still watching, you won't have to go do a taco run like you did last time. True story, by the way. Jessica says, will there be pizza? No, there will not be pizza. I know that's a change for our channel here, but no, there will not be pizza. We will do a little better than that for you. Not that there's anything wrong with pizza. God knows I love a good pizza. Those look great. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. And let me bring up the URL once more. So it's on the screen because I want to do that. So I don't know what else to say other than, we've got what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. We've got 3 more speakers that we're working on. And then we'll have the bios of each of those up very soon, assuming that people get them to us very soon. Right, Eldar, James, Robbie?
Sure.
And anybody else that's on. Zedka, whose name I pronounced wrong, says hello, everyone. Shannon says pizza. No pizza. Rank Zenith says serious question though. I have been to a few conferences last year, and I felt they were all about promoting services. I'm sure this one will focus more on learning over promoting. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I chose the folks that I chose, because I know that they will bring value, because I either know them well enough as people that they will do that, or I've seen them speak before and I know that they just bring value and don't really offer anything. So yeah. And of course we'll be talking to, and it's a legit themed event. So of course we're going to be talking about that, but the goal isn't to sell you on legit. The assumption is if you're at our event, you already know about legit and are interested in it. So I'm not going to tell you there won't be anybody that says I have this thing for sale, but that won't be the point. And that's a great question, because that is irritating as hell. I won't say any, but I've been to events in attendance in events that were just that. I remember I went to, this is years before I ever got into business for myself, but when I worked at Circuit City, they paid for me to go to a Zig Ziglar event of all things. And it was like 4 or 5 speakers, one of them who I didn't even know who he was at the time, but it was Anik Singhal. And everybody there just pitched something. It was such a waste of time. It was ridiculous, including Zig Ziglar. So anyway, so there's the event. Eldar says, we'll DM it now. Thank you. AS says, very helpful information. Thank you. Rank Zenith says, awesome. Thanks. Oh, and that's your free plug, by the way. So thank you. All right. Eldar says, it's ugly and nasty to, I assume that means pitch something on a paid event. It's probably not nasty to peach something too. But yeah, you're right. Like, crowds absolutely hate it. And like, I know that when I see that happening, I sit there thinking, I literally just paid and flew to get pitched to, rather than to get any benefit. So yeah, I think everybody kind of agrees that sucks. Even the people that do it know that it sucks, but selling on stage does work, but that's not what I wanted. If I was going to do that, I would have charged more, because then I'd just be doing it for the money. And believe me, at $4.95 a ticket, I'm not making money on this, or at least not very much. So, and that's a good point. Is I usually charge $1,000 an hour for a consulting call. This you're getting me for 3 days for half of that. So there's another great way to look at it, right? Like, and not to mention how much other stuff do we waste $500 on throughout the course of the year? Like, I bet some of us spend more than that on like Chipotle. Eldar says, we will deliver value. Absolutely. And you won't have to deliver tacos this time. So anybody that was there, or as the kids say, if you know, you know. The kids still say that?
No.
Fuck.
No. They did. It's better than what they say now.
Rankineth says, great set of speakers. Looking forward to it. I would have loved to join if it wasn't 36 hours away from me. You got 3 months to plan. Just saying.
Yeah, it's 12 hours a month, man.
Yeah.
3 hours a week.
Time doesn't really work that way, but
well, yeah.
I wish it did.
You could live stream your journey for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Like an epic YouTube series. SEO across the world.
Create, or what is it? Document, don't create.
Right. Here we go.
Eldar says, yeah. I don't know. I'm running out of stuff to say. We've been here almost an hour. So if there's any more questions, it's okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Eldar's coming from Israel. Our speakers, Navneet is coming from India, and Kira is coming from the United Kingdom, and then everybody else is in the US, but it's not like the US is a small place either. So, I don't really know where everybody's from, so I won't go. Like Terry, it'll be like 8 or 9 hour flight for. So, no excuse, I guess, is the point that I'm making. Eldar says, enjoy it as a business trip. Yeah, exactly. You're being peer pressured right now is what's happening. So, let's see. Here we go. AI SEO. I don't know what that means. All right. Jim, anything else you want to cover?
No, I would just, say go. Like, if you're on the fence, go. Make a solid investment in yourself, because you won't regret it. Like well, actually, there is something I want to say. The whole reason we're here is because you and I networked 6 and however many years ago, 7 years ago, you probably know the date. But like, this legit platform in and of itself came about because Chris and I connected and made a business connection. we made struggling for the right way to tell the story. You've told it better before, but my point here is, like, Chris and I made a connection through business that has now literally created this, which we're here talking about. So had we not invested in each other and made that connection and networked, Legiit itself would not exist. Legiit Live wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be here talking to each other. So go, and that was over what, $17, I think, something like that.
16.
Okay, see, I knew you'd remember. Make the investment in yourself. Like, it's so worth it. And in 7 years from now, like, where could your life be if you actually show up and make the investment in yourself, do the work, make the network connections, meet people, go a little bit out of your regular routine, take that 36-hour flight. Like, what's your life going to look like in 7 years if you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said, I think you might have frozen. Oh, no, you haven't. Okay. Yeah, you said get out of your, I don't think it's exactly what you said, but you said get out of your comfort zone. This is well outside mine for anybody that knows me. And speaking in events in general is because I don't like to travel and I don't like to be like around people very much, but I do it because there's a benefit to it and I have benefited hugely from it and so on. So yeah, that's another great point, is that if you've never done it, just do it. Like, what have you got to lose? $500. Like I say, you probably spend that on Chipotle. I don't know why I'm picking on Chipotle today. I guess it's because of the taco story. Jayash says, is Mike bringing the snacks? My guess is that Mike will bring at least the kind of snacks that Mike is known to bring. Hopefully he doesn't do that during, at the place. But yeah, no, I'm sure Mike will bring his favorite kind of snack for sure. And again, this is an if you know moment. Question. This is Rank Zenith. Question for Jim. How do you punish yourself if you don't meet your weekly, monthly plan? Discipline, I mean.
I don't know that would be effective. I don't spend a lot of time punishing myself, more so trying to figure out, like, hey, what went wrong, how to improve it. For me personally, I don't find talking negatively or talking down to myself to be productive. I'd rather just be realistic about, hey, what did I suck at and how can I improve? I think there's a really big difference between being brutally honest with yourself and talking about the areas that you failed and you did really bad and you can improve, versus punishing yourself. Like saying, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I'm no good, I messed up, I'm a failure, does literally nothing to help you. You'd be way better suited to figure out where did you go wrong and how can you improve yourself. So I personally would say not punishing yourself at all, but figuring out what areas did you not hit the mark and why, and then look to improve those tomorrow.
So that's the kind of insight that you can expect to see a lot more of at the event. Actually, do you have any idea what you're going to talk about, Jim?
I do. It's going to be mostly about time management and showing up. One of the things for me, like if anyone follows me personally, you probably have heard my no half cake story at some point in time, but just for brevity, I'll share the synopsis here. When I started doing business, I made my version of success: the house, the bank account, the cars, the stuff. And I spent a lot of years trying to get around people who had the following on Instagram, who had the name, who had all this fame and stuff that I wanted. And then I got that stuff, and then ultimately realized when I missed my kid's birthday party, like I missed the stuff that matters. I wasn't showing up in my house. I had no relationship with my wife. I had no relationship with my kids. Worst shape of my life. Like on the brink of divorce. Like literally every possible thing that could go wrong went wrong. And I realized, like, in that moment, it didn't matter what kind of car I drove. It didn't matter what kind of money was in the bank account. Like, that wasn't what success was. So I spent the past, that was 4 years, really focusing on how to be present in my life. So to be able to go to the sushi restaurant and take photos, take the kids to school, show up here and do a live stream, then go coach a lacrosse game, come back, bang out some more work, like to be able to kind of harmonize work and life, not this work-life balance thing that everyone tries to talk about, but like legitimately, how do you actually be tactically excellent in all areas of your life? and be there to enjoy it.
If you saw me smile right then, that's because work-life balance is a thing that Jim knows that I can't stand, because in my experience, that when people say they want that, what they want is to not work. So, Jayosh, I hope I'm getting that right. If I'm not, I apologize. Says we should hear from your business partner more often. Nice addition. Jim doesn't know it yet, but we're going to be doing these weekly until the event. So you'll get to hear from him more often. So, but no, I'm sure Jim appreciates that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to.
All right. I think it's about time to wrap this thing up. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's 4 o'clock. But again, I guess we'll go quickly over the deets. Do kids still say that?
No, definitely
not. All right. Anyway, it's legitlive.com, because we try to make things easy. It'll be September 13th, 14th, and 15th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at Pine Lakes Country Club, which I believe it's this building here. I can't really tell from that picture, but it's definitely that building that just went away. So anyway, in that building there, some of the speakers, I'll be the host and MC, which is just a cool title. I don't care what anyone says, except for Hammer, because that bastard won't let me use him for a promo no matter what I do. And then Jim will be the co-host, and he will be presenting. Then Gregory Ortiz, a longtime SEO expert and coach, and just a really great guy all the way around. Andrew Moles, the best paid advertising person I've ever met. One of the most creative people I've ever met, too. Who, by the way, produced our commercial, which will be available very, very soon. Eldar Cohen, from one of our sponsors from Local Dominator. Namit Kaushal, SEO expert from India. I forget the name of his company right now, which is embarrassing. We got Brian Wyndham, who was on here about a month ago from Max Places. Mike Merlino, who brings the absolute best energy to speaking. A fun story about Mike. First event I spoke at, I was like the 4th or 5th speaker. And somewhere in my presentation, I said, fuck. I was like, great. Now I'm going to be the guy that said fuck in his presentation all weekend. And then Mike went after me, and I no longer had that concern, because every third word out of Mike's mouth was fuck. And he was just so entertaining and brought such a great energy that we've gotten to be good friends since then. And that was at an event. Man, I'm really good with the segues today. That was at an event that I was invited to by Terry here, who runs SEO Spring Training and Solterra Web Services, and really, really knowledgeable SEO guy who he's taught me a lot about SEO, but just in general, he's been a big help for me. He and his lovely wife, Elizabeth, have been a big help for me in planning this event as well. And then Randy Rohde, who is 38 Digital Market on Legiit and is known as Randy, the news guy. He's really great with PR and things like that. He's going to bring some cool stuff. Brock is a lot like Mike. They're actually partners, and they're really, really great with GMB and Google Business. So they'll be bringing some cool stuff. We got James, who I think was on most of the stream. If he's not still on, he was earlier. James is is somebody I've known for a long time, but only met in person a few months ago. But he has some really cool perspectives, particularly on like client getting and things like that. Robbie, who is also a top Legiit seller and a great at AI and a local SEO and lots of great stuff. And he was on the channel not long ago. Kira, who I only met within the last month or so through Mad Singers. But she's going to be coming all the way from the UK if things work out. And she gave a great talk here on the channel a couple months ago on international SEO. And then Brian Cato, who's great at SEO automation and just SEO analysis and SEO in general, is a really popular speaker. Is somebody that was highly requested when we started planning this event, and he's going to be great. And then there's going to be another 3 that we're still waiting for their details on. And then if you want to come, and if you don't, I'm going to be very disappointed. But if you want to come, it's $497 for the executive package, which will get you access to the 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and 15th. And then for the VIP package is $997. Excuse me. With that's access to the event, access to VIP parties, lifetime access to the Legiit dashboard, which we didn't really talk about here today, front row seating, which is actually seating wherever you want, a recording of the event, and then everybody that comes is going to get early access to the industry breaking new feature that we're going to be releasing at the event. So And then as far as the details, we want to thank our sponsors, which Superstar SEO, which is me, Core Growth, which is Jim. We got to get his icon on here, but Local Dominator, which is Eldar. And then the hotel is going to be Island Vista Resort, which is a beautiful hotel right on the ocean. It's a really nice place. I think what I'm going to do is actually just go rent a room there one night beforehand and just like kind of walk through the hotel and kind of record the whole thing. That's plus I think that'll be a cool thing to do, but you can check that out. Make sure that you use code LEGITLIVE when you book your room and you'll get a nice discount on that too. And the event or the URL is just legitlive.com, and then you just click purchase now. Let me get this off the screen. Purchase now. And you'll just be taken over to a very standard checkout page. Not that standard is bad. It's very simple to fill in. You place your order and you will be good to go. So whew, I'm tired. I think that's pretty much it. Anybody have any last minute questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, or anything else I can address related to the event? I know some people have asked some questions about getting orders and stuff like that. That's not really why we're here today. So I'm not ignoring you. I am ignoring you on purpose, but I'm not doing it disrespectfully this time. But if you have any questions, I'll stick around for another minute or two. Otherwise, we're going to get back in the lab and making this thing as awesome as we can, because that's what you deserve, because you support us and you take the time to listen to us, and you're going to take the time and spend a little bit of money to invest in yourself and come hang out with us in person too. We're going to plan some fun activities to go along with the event as well, because Myrtle Beach is a fucking blast. We're going to have some information on stuff you can do in Myrtle Beach on here very soon as well. And I don't know. I think that's it. People are starting to actually, pretty much everybody's still here, but people are starting to drop off. I think we'll go ahead and shut it down now. One last time, legitlive.com. I hope to see you there. I'm looking forward to it. Jim, anything you want to say?
I do. Just one quick thing, which we're peer pressuring you really to take the time and the money to come here. I want to emphasize why. It's not because we want to pocket the money and make a bunch of money ourselves. We are both doing pretty well, knock on wood somewhere, outside of this. These tickets are not that expensive where we are making a killing and we're going to go buy ourselves a nice car from this. The reason why we're pressuring you to go do this is to better yourself, because we know that you're capable of more. We want more for you. So I just want to emphasize that this is not us pressuring you to do this because we want to make some money off you and then count you as a number and then see you later. It's not who we are. The reason why we're taking the time right now, where we put on this event, all of these things are because we want to provide the best for you, and we think you deserve it. So sometimes we just need a little encouragement to see the best in ourselves. And that's what I want to do here for you, is just make sure that you know that you are worth it, and see the potential that we see in you. So please do.
Wonderful. And if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more about it, or if you want to learn more from Jim and I, just subscribe or follow or do whatever it is wherever you're watching. We're going to be talking about this a lot for the next 3 months. I'm excited for it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I know I could go on and on. I have to shut myself up sometimes. So I think that'll do it. But whether you can make it or not, thank you for taking the time to be here today. I know you could have been anywhere else in the world, and you chose to spend some of it here for an hour or so today. I will never take that for granted. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I will see you again next week. Jim will be back next week. And then I don't have any other guests lined up at the moment. What I may start doing is booking time with each of the speakers and having them come on and kind of go that angle with it. So we'll do that. But last but not least, as always, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon. Peace.